because I know my phone will end up going off right in the middle of our interview, because that will be my luck.
You're fine. I'll edit it out and charge you for it later.
Oh, $1 million.
Okay, Tanya. Tanya.
They're to think we're drinking bourbon or something in these.
For sure. I mean, there is a special sauce in here, but.
H-Jemima. Oh no, we're not allowed to say that no more. What do we say anymore? Like, oh no, they just took her off the picture.
What, Aunt Jemima?
Let me stop.
All right, for those who's wondering what the special sauce is, I ran out of honey, so I had to use syrup. Okay, sorry, we're bougie over here.
Oh my God, the syrup is good though.
It is. It's like, it gives it like a light taste. It's not too heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it makes it flow better. Tanya, welcome.
Thank you.
I usually give handshakes.
Air.
No, not air. Tanya, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good.
Yeah?
I'm feeling good.
You're officially the first woman on my podcast. Congratulations. Thank you, as a matter of fact.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming.
I appreciate it.
You're running for city council.
Yes.
I guess we could start from the beginning on who's Tanya, and then we can work our way to why you're running for city council and
sure.
Your experience in Niagara Falls. So who is Tanya? Tanya Barone.
How long do you have?
I don't know.
I'm a very multifaceted person.
Okay. Well, listen, I think we got some time. Don't give me too much work to edit, because I don't have the energy for that one.
I'll save that good stuff.
Appreciate it.
For
Let's keep it. Yeah, let's keep it simple. Who's Tanya Barone?
Let me think about this for a minute.
Well, how about I help you?
Who do you think I am?
Well, I know you're in real estate, right?
Yes.
Are you born and raised in Niagara Falls?
I'm born and raised in Niagara Falls.
Tell me about your upbringing.
I grew up on Elmwood Avenue, right down by City Hall. Didn't have much money, but we had a lot of love in our house, and we didn't need for a thing. Because that was all we needed, really.
For sure. So.
But it was a humble beginning, so it helps me relate to everybody, I think.
Yeah.
And a lot of life experience to get where I'm at. Single mom, divorce, bankruptcy. I've been there, done it.
So, yeah.
I've had nothing. I've had things. Things don't mean anything. So, now I don't spend as much time throwing myself into work like I used to, because I used to have 2 phones to my ears at all times, even on vacation, and missed a lot of my daughters growing up because of that.
Yeah.
But I was a struggling single mom, had to pay bills.
How many kids did you have?
3 daughters.
3 daughters.
Now I have 2 grandchildren,
wow.
2 granddaughters.
You're a grandma?
Yeah.
You don't look like it at all.
Yeah. And now
congratulations.
I'm helping. Thank you. Now I'm helping to raise my grandchildren.
Okay.
And
nice.
I homeschool them.
Wow.
3 years now I've been homeschooling.
Okay.
During COVID, we decided that we were just not gonna do the whole school thing anymore. You know.
What was the reason?
Control. My granddaughter was asthmatic, severe asthmatic, and it was hard for her to wear a mask, and she had some breathing issues, and they weren't very lenient with the masking, and they were having her run around in gym with a mask on after taking an inhaler at the clinic. And she had an asthma attack at school.
Get out of here.
And they shut parents and grandparents out of the lives of the kids. I used to volunteer with my kids, my grandkids, field trips. I chaperone, and I enjoy that. And the parents weren't even allowed in the building anymore. You had to pre-plan your visit to the office, and it just felt so closed out. And nobody really wanted to work with you. Yeah, it's unfortunate. So I felt like we were losing control of our children, our grandchildren, like inside the family, we're losing more control.
Got it.
Was more government control in my eyes, my opinion.
Yeah, the whole COVID era was a very interesting era.
It's a very strange time.
Yeah, very, very much so.
Very strange time to navigate.
I felt like we were going through some type of, what is it called? What's like the, when they test you virtually? Like a little, that's what it is.
Like a sci-fi kind of a...
It did give a sci-fi feel for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. But I felt like we was going through like some major tests as a country, as a world, honestly. But anyway, COVID was very, very strange for sure. But you're in real estate, right?
Almost 20 years.
20 years in real estate.
With
Got
the
it.
Same company, Howard Hanna.
Howard Hanna?
Yep, out of
Oh,
Lewiston.
okay. You work with Tammy.
Yes.
Tammy, I love Tammy. She's awesome.
Yep.
Shouts out to Tammy. So you've been doing real estate for 20 years.
Yes.
And what galvanized you to run for city council?
Well, obviously there's always issues that bring you to City Hall. And then, so an issue brought me to City Hall. And then as I'm listening, I'm like, is this really happening? Like, what are they talking about? And then I started really paying attention because I was so focused on the issue at hand that I was there for. Then I started really studying the agenda and watching the voting. And it became so predictable that I could literally place a bet if I wanted to on how each meeting would go.
They should start doing that, actually. Yeah.
And every meeting, my jaw would drop at the little bit of information that they actually have.
Yeah.
And the votes that came out with the little bit of information. And I just started researching the things that were on the agenda.
Yeah.
And going back and looking at the mayor's memos and then talking to the council members to see if they had additional information, and they seemed to be kind of clueless too. But then they would still be casting votes. So our money was just flying out of City Hall every meeting. I'm like, this doesn't make sense. And I'm pretty good at, investigating things and and researching things. That was like right up my alley. So I felt like I was in the right place. Like, I felt like that original topic led me there for a reason, because then I started catching things on the agenda that didn't make sense, and then literally asking those important questions.
Yeah.
And then they were like, oh, yeah, we didn't even catch that. Like, oh. But then I felt like I was helping. With that.
So your experience, like going to City Hall meetings and seeing how a lot of the agendas were being passed kind of gave you an inclination that something is wrong here.
Correct.
Which galvanized you to run for city council.
Yes.
I had a conversation with Dante Miles previously to this one. We kind of divulge a lot of information in regarding City Hall and his speculations on why things are operating the way it is. I would like to ask you the same question. Why do you feel things are being processed the way it is in regards to Niagara Falls and its government?
Well, I feel like there's definitely a hidden agenda, in my opinion. Somebody kind of pulling strings behind closed doors. There's no transparency there.
No, that's a big one for sure.
There's no accountability whatsoever. Nobody wants to answer questions. Nobody wants to give you any information. You have to FOIL request everything. It's just clearly, it's not an open door policy. Even with the mayor's office, I've tried to meet with them a couple of times where this way things maybe that were misconstrued could get, the air could get cleared, but he's not interested in doing that.
Yeah.
So there just seems like there's an establishment there, and they don't like people that go against the establishment. And it's unfortunate. But if everybody were doing their jobs a little more thoroughly and being a little more transparent and listening to the public a little bit more, I I think it would be more of like teamwork. Everybody just seems to have their own direction that they're heading in. Doesn't seem to all mesh up there.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate.
Well, I feel like, yes, a lot of the things that have been passed, I've been flummoxed by. And I ask myself, what is the reasoning behind all of this? Because I do feel like money is being spent irresponsibly. I do feel like we're not letting certain processes happen in Niagara Falls that will be advantageous to Niagara Falls. Like, I've been in business for over 12 years. And I know one of the things that you need to do to keep any successful business thriving is cash flow. Why are we stopping cash flow for coming into the city and developing more cash flow ultimately? I ask myself that question because Niagara Falls, what's her name? Kilo Monroe. She brought this up in one of her City Hall speeches was Niagara Falls is a business, and it is. And it should be operating as such. And its biggest assets is the people. If you want to keep this business afloat, you need to bring cash flow here and you need to invest it accordingly. I don't see any investment in Niagara Falls. I really don't. And I feel like we're preventing a lot more investment from coming into the falls. Well, a lot of investment period from coming into the falls, which will ultimately bankrupt the city.
Right.
So I ask myself these questions. I'm like, okay, what's actually going on here? And you don't know until you have these conversations with people. But how can you have these conversations if they don't want to? Right? They don't want to come out to the light and have these conversations. How do you expect to have them? Now, you said you reached out to the mayor. How long ago was this?
I did. Yeah. I believe last June.
And nothing.
Last June. It was around the time that maybe it was even April, May, June, somewhere around there, when I had gotten suspended from speaking at the meetings, April 24th. I wanted to speak to him about that, but I wanted to speak to him about all the issues that I was going to City Hall for, because as I said before at the podium, we can go up there and we can talk to the city council members. They're not going to answer back when we're speaking to them. You have to catch them before or after the meeting. Yeah. And sometimes they don't always stick around. Certain ones stick around. But I just figured if my main issues could only be answered by the mayor, then he should be the one answering the questions. Yeah. Not them. I don't want to use the city council like they're not a firing squad. I know that a lot of times people go to the podium and they just, rant for 3 minutes now, not 5. It's a new rule. Yep. For 3 minutes, they get upset and they complain and whatever, but then they go home and nothing ever gets solved. I like to go directly to the person that the issue was with, but it's hard when they don't want to talk to you. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you can, please elucidate on why you're running for city council. What do you expect to bring that is different from the current administration, what they're doing now?
I think teamwork. I can see myself working more like teamwork with everybody up there.
Well, who's everybody out there? We say teamwork because let's say
the city council primarily.
Okay, so let me ask you this question. Do you think teamwork is probable with the current administration?
I don't want to say no.
Then what's stopping you?
It's there's some doubt there, but I still want to remain hopeful because at the end of the day, I'm not who I know they have an opinion of me because I've been going to the podium for so long, and Perry has mentioned he dreads to hear me speak. He said it under his breath at one of the meetings.
No, you did.
And I played it back the next day just to see how I sound because you don't know how you sound or how you come across when you're up there in the moment. So I was like, did he really just say that? I was like, wow, that's kind of unprofessional. So obviously I addressed it.
Okay.
I addressed it. I said, I know you dread to hear me speak, but I did hear that. So I just, that amount of respect that people deserve respect regardless. Yeah. You have a job to do. You have to remain professional regardless of your opinion. Correct. Or how you feel. But anyway, I think that people do see me now in a different light. When I go to the podium, obviously as a city council candidate, like I said, multifaceted. So I can either be speaking as a resident or I could be speaking as a resident who's running for city council and conduct myself professionally. There's a time and a place for everything. And I always try to conduct myself professionally, but I'm not in jogging pants anymore. I'm doing it in slacks or. But anyway, Brian Archie, he came up to me one meeting. He goes, "Oh my God, you did a complete 360. Well, Brian, I haven't been in business for almost 20 years. I'm not a savage. I can conduct myself. But, when you have 5 minutes, and now 3 minutes, I have to keep saying that, to rattle off what you're passionate about and you're trying to get it all out, it's going to come out a certain way, and I don't know, maybe I'm a little overpowering when I'm there and I'm trying to shoot everything out and I want to make sure I get all my points across. You know what I mean? And I just stopped writing speeches. To me, I just kept tearing them up. And I said, that don't sound right. I'm real critical of myself. Yeah. So I was like, I'm just winging it. And then from now on, I just said, I'm just being me. I'm just winging it. You know what I mean? Because that's just who I am. I just want to go off the cuff. I don't want to be rehearsed, and sound like a robot. I don't want to sound like somebody else. I'm real. Yeah. I want to address the real problems. And sometimes it might offend people. But if you're doing something to be offended, then shame on you. You should correct it. I'm going to call you out. Not afraid to call you out.
So you think that with the current administration, you will be willing and able to work with them?
Absolutely. Okay. And I've told them before at the podium, I said, no matter what you guys have done to me with the police and, threats and calling your family members in there to heckle and threaten, and I told them I could put that all aside, and we could just move on from this point forward. I'm willing to do that. I'm not a child, you know what I mean? I'm an adult.
Sure. 100%. It's professional, and this is a professional thing to do.
Exactly. And we all want the same things. I think we all want the same things. We can agree on that for the city, for the people in the city, for the kids. Yeah. We want to see the city thrive. Got it. We 100%. Have to have a cash flow. The budget is a mess. Yeah. I went over the budget. Oh my God. We need a whole nother show for that. But I right away seen things that needed to be looked into. I'm like, we shouldn't be putting that much money in that. You know what I mean? That's just like your own budget at home, right? You can see things that need to be modified and trimmed back, and then that money could be used for other things.
So I don't want to eschew from the question. So that's one thing you bring to City Hall, the capability of working with them. What is something else you will be able to cultivate the city with on your agenda?
I just think the pure passion for the people, number one, the city, the children, also the putting in the time and effort. I mean, I've really scaled way back in my life and really put there's things that are of real deep importance to me. And it's not material things, it's my family, and it's things that I'm passionate about. And that is trying to make a difference in the lives of other people. And I think that I've spent a lot of my time over a year now, just really researching everything that's going on in the city and really just trying to be on top of all of that. And doing due diligence. I think even though people think that this is just like a part-time gig, I'm going to call it a gig because sometimes people don't seem to really take it real serious. They think, I don't get paid that much money. I'm not going to put that much time and effort into it.
Yeah.
No, it's literally more than a full-time job. Like, you have to be dedicated. And I really feel like I'm dedicated way before even running for city council, because that wasn't even my purpose for being there.
Yeah. What is your vision for Niagara Falls?
Oh, I'm daydreaming. I daydream every day.
Aren't we all?
Oh my God. I want to be able to walk the streets and feel safe. I want our kids to be able to play, and our grandkids to be able to, my grandkids to be able to play, and not have to worry about people shooting each other. And you hear a lot downtown. You hear a lot of times guns going off.
Yeah.
My mom's neighborhood nearby, they can hear guns all the time. Clean. We need our city to be clean. There's so much garbage everywhere. It's very disheartening, depressing.
It's hard to take pride in it if it looks like this.
It really is. It really is. I just see people throwing trash out of their windows when they're at the red light. It's so upsetting, but it's just blowing around. Then we have tenants moving out, and then there's garbage all in the yards, and they pile everything up. They have to have a means to get rid of the garbage. We're so restricted on garbage and what we put out that there's no way that a landlord can even clean out an apartment or a house without having a trailer and trailering it somewhere. Maybe they don't have the means to do that, but garbage is a huge issue in the city. We need to clean it up.
Yeah.
I think people will actually have a different mindset. It will change the way people think if we can at least start there with a clean environment and safe streets. I feel like sometimes we don't have enough coverage for the crime that's going on in the city. It's the response time sometimes takes a long time to get help to that, when you call. I know I've been in situations where I've had a call and at 45 minutes, an hour, I have to call back. Are you coming? We'll send somebody there as soon as we can. Well, somebody could be seriously hurt. And it's not the officer's fault. They're just sometimes shorthanded. But, we need more police officers, I think, on the street, and not at City Hall. We don't need 6 officers at a meeting. Just saying. I've talked to the officers before. They say they don't mind being there, but of course they're just, they should be out on the street because we have a lot of issues.
Yeah.
A lot of calls.
Why should people vote for Tanya? I should have asked Dante this question last week. Give you all the tough questions today. I'm sorry. Because I'm a real person. I'm not a politician. I'm not going to talk like a politician, act like a politician, speak like a politician, but I'm going to do the work that it takes to get the job done, no matter what it is. And if I don't know something, I'm going to learn about it. I'm going to ask about it. I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to really put the work in to really know. And I'm not going to claim to know everything because I don't, but I'm not going to lie about it and act like I do. So you're going to get a real person that cares, because obviously I have a stake in it too, because I live here. I've lived here my whole life, and I've seen the city decline so much through the years. And it's just been so stagnant. I share the vision that everybody else does, and I want to actually restore hope to the people, because people have lost hope. When I've gone door to door, they say, why bother? It's very discouraging. Sometimes I feel that way too. I can relate to that. Sometimes I say, why am I doing this? Am I crazy? Well, maybe a little bit. Maybe a little. But I think you have to be a little bit to do the job. Because it's hard work. I've already seen how much they work. You know what I mean?
The work you have to put in. You have to be dedicated. But I really want to see businesses come here, the city thrive again. I mean, I hear all these stories even from my in-laws and my grandparents, they tell me of a time where everything was great and they would go out dancing and there was places to go and everyone seemed so happy. You could walk down the street and go into shops and restaurants and it just seemed like a much nicer time. I want to see that. I want to see that. I want the future generations to see that. I want people from all over the world that come here to see that and experience that. I don't want them to just go to the falls and then say, what do we do now? And then have to go across the bridge to Canada to do anything. We need our downtown built up.
100%.
Absolutely.
Well, Tanya, that was phenomenal. I appreciate you for coming.
Not at all.
Thank you so much. That was phenomenal. I wish you plenty of good luck. And if you need anything, please let me know.
Thank you. I appreciate you.
Thank you. That was excellent, Tanya.